Hello YouTube, this is Kim Apocalypse, and because of the results of the poll that I put out the other day, we're going to concentrate this video on my movie settings. And I wanted to choose Voodoo because Voodoo does 4K, I'm sorry, it does 4K, yes, but it does 4K Dolby Vision. And you know, I'm a big fan of Dolby Vision. This TV, of course, supports it, just like the Vizios and the LGs. Let's just get into it right here. And this is a good old-fashioned remote for you kids that don't know what a remote actually looks like. This is what one looks like. It's not the one remote, and it's not a Vizio remote. This is what old school people like me are used to, a nice big remote. That's one advantage I could say I like about this TV, besides the motion, is I love the way the remote feels. Let's get into movies. Of course, this is my movie collection. And let's start with, let's go ahead and start Avengers. Yes, I know, I own UHD. And you'll see up in the top corner right there, well, it's blurred out by the UHD, but it says Dolby Vision, and it just disappeared. It's a really bright TV. Let's get to something that, let's see, what would constitute some brightness. Well, let's go to Wakanda. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it right here because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Now, you can see the vividness and the color and the clarity of this TV. It's very bright. It's very colorful. Sorry about the, I still don't have a tripod yet. I ordered one though, just want you to know, ordered one off of Amazon. It should be here in like a couple seconds. You know how Amazon is. But anyway, I want to go ahead and go into the picture settings. You pop up there in the corner. Picture adjustments. Now, you could already see that it says Dolby Vision HDR. Okay, my brightness is at max, my color is at 80 because I like a vibrant picture. When you go into advanced settings, the brightness I have on max, the contrast is on max, and you can see the level of detail that's in this picture. The gamma, I have +1. The reason I have +1 is because if I put it at down there, then it takes some brightness away. And when I say about brightness, I'm not sure if you can see it in the, if you go, of course you go too low, it kind of makes it real dull. If you go too high, it makes it too high. So what I do is I keep it on 1 because I like some brightness to my picture. If I put it on 0, it's not really too light, too dark, but like in some dark scenes, it does make it too dark. My black level is at 50. I always keep my black level at 50 because you don't want what they call black crush. If you go too high, I mean, you're going to crush your blacks. Even though this TV has the X1 Extreme chip in it, you're still going to crush your blacks if you over adjust. And what I mean by over adjust is if you over adjust too much saturation of color, you're going to get those really bright bleed through reds that kind of ruin the picture. If you go too high on your black levels, you're going to have black crush. If you go too low, of course you can't see anything. So don't over adjust your picture because there's such thing as too much color and too much brightness. There really is. Now the black adjust here, it enhances images for stronger contrast. And it does. I mean, you can see in the picture right here, the details and stuff. It's just, It's just amazing. Your advanced contrast enhancer, of course, this is, I always keep this on. This boosts your contrast, so you have better differentials between light and dark. The local dimming I have on medium, and the reason I have on medium is because I had it on high, and the local dimming on this TV is so strong that when it would come a dark scene or anything with, say, a couple bright highlights, it would kind of make the bright highlights look dim too. But I put it down to medium, and then it worked itself out perfect. The extended dynamic range is your difference between lights and darks. It adjusts your peak luminance between the whites and the blacks, and it's great. Like if you have a say a logo come on, like you have a PlayStation 4 Pro like I do, and the PlayStation logo comes on right at the beginning, the whole screen's blackened, and then you have the white logo in the middle. The logo is perfectly white. There's no tan looking to it. There's no bleeding or anything because of it. It makes it perfectly white. So, I mean, that's the difference between your extended dynamic range and if you don't have it. And that's one of the processes that this TV does that it totally blows you away. It really does. Let's go over here to color. Color I got set on 80. If you go to 100, I noticed that it totally blows reds out of the water and stuff. But if you keep it, like, if you put it on the factory 60, it's okay. But I like a little bit more saturation. I do like the saturation sometimes of like the Samsung QLEDs. And when I put it on 80, it seems like I have that saturation. I mean, this is not a quantum dot TV, but you know, technically this TV is based on old technology with an update. So I guess you could call it kind of quantum dot. It's kind of Sony's version of quantum dot. The triluminous display is it's old school. They had triluminous displays in tube TVs. And then all of a sudden, you know, Sony was lagging a little bit and lagging here, lagging there. Then the past 2-3 years, they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and take the triluminous technology we used to have and apply it to a 4K TV. Well, boom. Now you have Sony in the running for top TVs again. Because for a long time, Sony was lagging very, very far behind everybody else. Because their TVs, I ain't gonna lie, their TVs were junk. I wouldn't own one. I tried to own, what was that, 800D about 4 years ago, and it was horrible. It was really, really horrible. But anyway, they stepped up their game. So anyway, back to the color saturation. I like some color saturation, but I don't like it oversaturated, so I put mine on 80. Your hue, don't even mess with it. I don't even mess with it. Color temperature. You can see the picture. You can see the color in his face and everything. It looks absolutely wonderful. So I don't bother. I mean, I keep it on cool because cool also defines your white colors too. And you know what? For some reason, I'm looking through my camera, and the words at the top. See, mine is perfectly white. I mean, bright, crisp white. But through my camera, it's shown that it's got a little bit of a tint to it. But I am using a Samsung, a Samsung Galaxy S9. So, it could be just Samsung. Anyway, advanced color temperature. You can adjust that, but this is like if you want to go in and you want to, oop, I backed out of it. Nope, nope, nope. Ha! There we go. Come on, back into it. All right, let's pause right there. Anyway, let's get back into the color. I'm sorry about that, guys. And And I'm going to tell you what, people complain, say this TV's slow. This TV's not slow, I'm sorry. Anyway, advanced color temperature. This is where you go to for, like, if you're going to have a calibrator over to adjust it out. Otherwise, on Vivid and other ones, they're preset. Live color. This is another benefit to having a Sony TV, and what it does is it eliminates what they call noise. And noise is like the little, if you ever see a black scene, the little dots and stuff like that that appear, kind of looks grainy. So I mean, it eliminates them. It gives them a more realistic picture is what this does. And I'm going to tell you what, this TV, I mean, I'm not saying nothing bad about the Vizio, because I still like Vizio, and Vizio's making leaps and bounds on their technology. But as for something that looks lifelike and natural, I haven't seen a TV besides this one yet that's able to do that. Your clarity, I have my sharpness on 50. I didn't really bother this, so I don't. It says manual, but I didn't mess with it. Your resolution, you can take all the way up to 100. But if you do that, what happens is you start to. It's kind of like putting the sharpness all the way at 100. You start getting the real sharp edges on everything. It doesn't look quite right. Master it in 4K. If you're watching a Blu-ray disc, you can actually turn this on, and the TV already up converts it, but you can turn this on and it up converts it even more. I'm not sure how that works because I don't own many Blu-rays. I'm actually getting ready to go buy a Xbox One X just for the 4K content. Maybe I'll throw a Blu-ray in it and see how well it works, how well this works. Random noise reduction, I have it off. Digital noise reduction, because like I said before, smooth gradation, that's your differences between your lights and darks and colors. I have the noise reduction and the random noise and the digital noise reduction off because because that's what the that's what the live color is for. And so I don't think you could overdo it, but still I didn't want to put it on there. Okay, Motionflow. This is an important thing about this TV. The Motionflow, I have set to standard. Now you can turn it off and it looks the same as this, but watch what happens if it'll do it on the camera. If I put it on clear, it drops the color of, the brightness of the picture significantly. You can go to True Cinema, but I leave mine on standard. I have no problems with motion blur. I have no ghosting. I have nothing. No problems on this TV at all with my motion. And of course, I have my Cinemotion on high. So, let's see. That being said, let's go over to video options. Of course, it's on auto. I leave your HDMI and your HDR and your color space all on auto. And there, of course, we don't want to reset the settings. But let's see here. But like I said, this is my movie picture settings. Just so happens my picture movie settings are in Dolby Vision. Now, if you have something that doesn't support Dolby Vision, I'll tell you what. If, say you have an Xbox One X and you play 4K movies on it, well, it supports HDR10. It does not support Dolby Vision. I think that's one of the hindrances with Xbox right now, is because they implemented Dolby Vision into everything from their Netflix, their Vudu, and stuff like that, but they didn't do it for digital media. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of this one. And I know for a fact that House with the Clock on the Walls, if you haven't watched it, it's really interesting. Watch it around Halloween. This one supports HDR10. You can see at the bottom it says HDR and Dolby Atmos. Um, it's a very good movie. Uh, let's see if I can. Well, you know what? That was a pretty bright picture itself. Okay. So, as you can see, this is on just HDR10. And let me go into this right here, into my picture adjustments, of course. This is on standard. Okay? This ain't even vivid. Let's go with vivid. Oh, actually, vivid makes it look darker. Oh, wow. Yeah, no. Leave it on standard. This is regular HDR. Brightness at max, color at 75. It's actually pretty saturated. Everything's pretty much the same. Max contrast, local dimming, everything. Colors at 75. The only difference is the color, the clarity, everything is the same. And that's pretty awesome, actually. Let's see here. Let me go into, I mean, that's pretty daggone good. Now, see, my camera is showing bleed through, but there is none. Let's go to something. Let's see, Transformers. That's really good. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I'm a Marvel nut. Okay, this is just in high. This is just regular high def. And let's see. Okay. Now you can see Rocket, and he's pretty. Let's see. He's pretty, not quite reddish, I guess. Let's see what I got these settings on, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I really don't mess much with standard TV unless it's broadcast, and I leave my broadcast on. Okay, that's brighter, but it's over brightening it. Okay, like I said, there's such a thing as too bright. Okay. Let's see here. Colors at 75. I've got the color on max, on standard. Ambient sensor light. This is kind of like you got lights on your room, so it turns off, it brightens the TV. You turn the lights off and it dims the TV for you. You don't want that, because sometimes the TV will dim and you don't even want it to, which kind of kills it. Brightness max, contrast max. Gamma's at 0, black levels at 50, black adjust is high, contrast is high, local dimming's high, extended range is high. Colors only on 75, it's on cool. Live colors on high, clarity's at 60 instead of 70 this time. Okay, the resolution, because this is standard, the resolution is set at 65. Remember, on the last one it was set at 20, but it was 4K. Well, this one, to upconvert it, is putting the resolution at 65. So, I mean, that's how that works. Gradation low, and those are off because of the live color. Motion, standard. It already gives your smoothness and everything, and your cinema on high. I like the Cinemotion. I like the little effect it gives. Also, I think it helps out with the non-motion blur. Video options don't give you much. On this one, it doesn't give you HDR video range. It just gives you HDMI and color space, because this is not in HDR. But this TV is. You can tell the difference between the 4K and just a regular 1080p. But it looks really good. It's really colorful and everything. It's not as crisp as 4K, of course, but I mean, still, it looks really, really good. And I'm not gonna play any more video because I'm afraid of getting that copyright strike. You know how they are. Um, but I mean, this TV, I can't say enough about it. I'm gonna go ahead and flash the home here, but there's not enough I can say about this TV. The motion blur is phenomenal. The picture quality is, I'd say it's on par with Vizio P series. The brightness, I'd say this one's got a slight edge. The real scene motion, I'm sorry, the real scene brightness of this TV is like almost 900 nits, whereas the one on the Vizio is only like 7 something. And if you do your research, the eye can notice in variations of 100. So if it's from 700 to 900, you're going to notice the brightness. If it was 700 to 750, you're not really going to notice at all. But anyway, that's my settings. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I'm looking to get an Xbox One X, like I said. Mainly, don't laugh at me, but mainly for the 4K player. Plus, I'm a gamer, so we'll see how that works out. And I'll be able to. And next time I'll do game settings with it, because the settings for the game are slightly different. Because you can't have high clarity or high motion. Well, you can have high motion. Well, the thing is, my PlayStation Pro, when I turn it on, it automatically shoots the TV into game mode. And the only thing I had to do there was adjust the brightness, because when it shoots it in game mode, it put the brightness down. But I shot the I shot the color. Not the color. I shot the brightness up, and it works fine. There's no lag or anything at all. This TV does a great job of processing the picture and everything. But anyway, that's another video. So that's my settings. I mean, plug them in if they work for you. They work for me. Like I said, I like a bright, vibrant picture with a lot of detail, so those work awesome. Very, very picky. So anyway, other than that, this is Ken Apocalypse, and like and share my videos, and I'll have more for you next time.